I'm Diane Knoll. I'm the founder and owner of Cascadia Therapy Services and Cascadia Handwriting Services as well. And I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit today about what kind of writing tools I like to use most commonly in my practice and show you what they are, as well as how to use them and what times to use them for what you're seeing in the kids you're working with. So the first one that I like to talk about when I'm thinking about adapted writing utensils is the twist and write pencil, and that looks like this. And it's actually a mechanical pencil, which you can kind of see here, and then the erasers are both here on the edges. So this one works really great for that kiddo that starts out like this with their pencil, and you have a hard time breaking them from that fully fisted grasp. Why it works is because how you use it is you put your pointer finger through kind of the Y part, and then I always tell them this is a little bed for their pointer finger to rest in, and then their thumb goes here and their middle finger here. So it really, because of the shape of it, the ergonomic shape, it really helps break up that full fist grasp into more closer to that tripod grasp that you're looking for. You may still get kids that come here and are using all of their fingertips, but at least you're starting to isolate this joint a little bit more and getting some more distal finger movement, and you're not full hand fisted and moving from back here from the wrist, elbow or shoulder. So this is kind of my, usually this is when I typically use it will be preschool or kindergarten, and really trying to break those kids out of this full fist grasp. I don't use it for everyone, but that's typically where I'll use it the most. Okay, so that was a twist and write pencil. Again, you hold it like this, and then the nice thing too is they can work on some in-hand manipulation when they erase. They have to go like this, and then bringing it back to getting their pointer finger in. So it's great for those reasons. The second one that I really like to use is the Stabilo Easy Write pencil, and this again is also a mechanical pencil. You can see it has, again, it's an ergonomic shape, and what's nice about these is these are actually sold for right-handed individuals, and then there's a different one for left-handed individuals. So a right-handed person, it's gonna fit like this in the hand. It's a really nice bigger grip for them, and then I don't know if you can see, but the actual lead of the pencil is very wide, so it's harder to break for those heavy pressure kids, and that's another reason I really like it. I'd say the one downside to this is there is no eraser, so they're gonna have to have a separate eraser, which can be a little bit frustrating. So I like to use this again for a kid that has a weak grasp, and then also I like to use this for my really fast writers that you want to just try to get to slow down, and I'll show you how to do that. What you want to do is add some weight to it. So an easy way to do that is just grabbing a little nut like that and putting it on, and then you want to make sure, of course, that the pencil will actually fit into it like that. So you can play around with the weight a little bit by adding more on, and then how you get it to stay is just using a rubber band at the end to kind of keep it on. Usually I do one, but if you've got someone that you just really want to slow down, or this helps by adding two. Okay, and then not the greatest job I've ever done, but you get the idea. You can make it look nicer than this. And so what this does is not only does it slow your writer down, it also works on strengthening because they're getting a little extra resistance as well. And then the weight, what's nice about it is it automatically kind of has the pencil fall back to the web space of the hand, so it helps sometimes with those hook writers too. So a hook writer is someone, I have a really hard time doing it because it's very uncomfortable for me, but holds their pencil more here. And often those will be your hyperextenders, the kids that hyperextend at the thumb too. So they're having to push really hard with their thumb joint to keep it stabilized, and it ends up in being a really awkward grasp and a painful grasp for them. So this is a nice way to break them out of it. And now I want to talk to you about a couple tools that I like to use with older kids. What I find frequently with older kids is They don't want to stand out in a classroom. They don't want to be using anything different than their peers. So sometimes making a recommendation for a modification or accommodation is a little bit more challenging with them. But these two things that I'm about to show you are things that I've overall kids really like to use, and other kids in their classroom are like, ooh, I want to use that. So I don't run into the same challenges using these two things. The first one is called a friction pen. It's Frixion, and you can see that here a little bit better. And so these are actually erasable pens. And if you remember the first version of erasable pens back in the day, I'm dating myself a little bit here, you remember that they didn't erase very well and they were just kind of terrible and awful to use. Well, this pen has been the technology has improved since then. So what's different about erasable pens now is that they have a chemical in the ink that that disappears when heat's applied to it. So literally the friction from the eraser will help erase the ink. And I like to use these pens because they really just help decrease the friction. So kids that are writing really hard, this gives them a little bit more of a glide as they write. So they're getting a little bit smoother write, and it's a little bit easier for them that way. And then what's also nice about these is the eraser, I think, works better than a pencil. So if you have those kids that erase and erase and erase, and then the pencil lead keeps smudging all over the paper, this really helps with that piece. Another way, again, I kind of use the same trick as I did on the Stabilo pencil. If you want to slow a kid down or you want to fix that hook grasp, if you just add on some nuts again and then put the rubber band on. I put it down here because what happens if you don't do that, since this is a click and it puts the pen, opens or closes the pen basically, you want it low enough so that this isn't going to block the pen from turning on and off. So you want it down about here, and then I usually do about 2 weights on these, and I do use this one a lot to break that hook grasp, because again, the same idea, when they're writing, the weight tends to pull the pen back here and it helps get them out of this. And you can actually add a little bit more weight on this than you can with a pencil. And so that, again, it has, the very nice part about it too is that the diameter is a little, not the diameter, the circumference is a little bit wider, so it's more comfortable for them to hold. They're not gripping as tight as they are for pencils. And there's different colors that you can use, so that's usually motivating for a kid too. So again, a friction pen is a really nice option if you want to work on those things that I mentioned. And then I want to mention the last writing tool that I really like. Again, I usually use this for our older kids, so maybe 3rd grade and up. But again, Stabilo makes a right-handed or left-handed pen that's ergonomically shaped to fit in the hand. This is the right-handed one because I am right-handed. But again, this is the cap. So what you do is you pull it off, and then you can just put it on the back like that, and it should pop right on. And then if you can see, it's got a spot for the thumb, the pointer finger, and then the middle finger goes under there. And it's just really nicely fits in the hand. It's super comfortable. It's a gel pen, so again, the glide is really nice when they're writing, and it makes a big difference for kids that are just so uncomfortable gripping the pencil, and this just makes it more comfortable for them. Again, you can add weight to this one too. I know that's shocking, but you would just put it on the back, and then same trick with a rubber band. But usually this one, I don't do that too much too. I usually end up using my other two that I showed you before I would revert to this one. Again, I would say the drawback of this would be the fact that there is no eraser to this one, but it's just such a smooth write that I actually just, as an adult, like using this a lot. And so it's something that you can try out, and I'll show you a little sample. I'm just gonna write my name in cursive and show you what it looks like. It has really good ink, so again, it could be nice for your light pencil pressure writers too, as a modification for that. So again, this is the Stabilo Easy Write pen, and this is a right-handed one, but they do make it in left-handed, and there are different color options too. I just try to choose the most gender-neutral one because I'm working with a wide variety of kids throughout my day. Last but not least, I just wanted to talk a little bit about slant boards. I've used a variety of slant boards, and there's lots of different ways that you can use them. Why I like slant boards, and I think they're underused throughout education, is that it really brings you from this kind of posture up to this kind of posture. So I have my favorite version today that I like to use all the time. It's called a visual edge slant board. It looks like this. You're gonna get a really nice glare from my camera light. And then this is what the back looks like. So there are these little legs that you can see, and that's just what causes the slant. So you put them up like this, and then it'll sit at a nice horizontal surface. There's Velcro on the back here where you can attach different things, and then you'll see like this is a nice little thing where they can rest their pencil or pen while they're writing. It also catches the paper. And then this is nice too because there's little clips to hook the paper. I also really like this one because it's a little bit wider than most slant boards. So if a child is working on copying, you can put the piece they're copying on one side and then the part they're writing on the other side, which will help as well because, right, it's on the same eye level, so there's not this. Instead, it's just looking back and forth like this. The other nice thing about this one is, if you can't tell, it is a dry erase board, so you can also make a little schedule. You could give directions for how to do a task here. And you know, if you don't have paper, as long as you've got a dry erase marker or a crayon, you're good to go on here too. So again, I use this one pretty much every day in my practice. Every kid I've used it with really likes using it, and they actually request to use it when I'm there with them. So this is, again, kind of my favorite go-to one, and I've used for many years. Again, thank you so much for joining me today and watching this video. If you have any questions, you can email me at diane@cascadiatherapy.com. And everything I showed you today is also available online at my shop. So again, you can go to our website, cascadiatherapy.com, go under the shop and click on handwriting products, and you'll see everything we talked about today pretty much laid out in the same order that we talked about it. I hope you can take the information that you learned from here today and apply it so that you're creating a more functional handwriter for tomorrow. Thank you.